35, 635.
Okay, I'm coming.
Problem with the HO. Interchange this morning. Tim and Lauren.
Thanks. Well, this week's cold weather caused a lot of power outages across North Texas.
Encore says most of those 30,000 customers should have power restored by tonight. Wayne Barlow of Burleson uses an electronic breathing machine. It went off early Monday when the power was knocked out in his neighborhood. He was without power for more than 12 hours. Now, if his power had not been restored, he says he would have spent the night in the hospital.
I would have had to go to the hospital if it hadn't come back on, because without breathing treatments, I can't breathe.
Encore has crews out repairing the lines. The company says most areas should have power back today. Some remote areas may not have power until tomorrow.
More long lines expected at Fort Worth's Community Food Bank this morning. Monday, the line stretched 7 blocks. An estimated 1,200 people waited in that freezing wet weather to get a Thanksgiving dinner. The economy and cuts in food stamp benefits accounting for the increase.
Suffered a triple bypass heart surgery, heart attack, and I'm not working right now, and I'm not receiving any food stamps or anything, so this will help my family out, my kids out for Thanksgiving.
The Community Food Bank in Fort Worth says it will provide for nearly twice as many families this year as it did last Thanksgiving. If you'd like to support that food bank, you can go to myfoxdfw.com for a link to the food bank's website.
There's good news for travelers. Everything seems to be back to normal at our local airports. Most departing and arriving flights are scheduled on time this morning at DFW and Love Field. Hundreds of flights were canceled over the last 2 days because of the weather.
2 schools in Arlington had to cancel classes after losing power. Bevensea Elementary and Bowles Junior High were both closed. The kids sent home.
Well, I dropped her off earlier and I said it looks kind of dark, and then went on to work, and then they posted a Twitter feed that there was no power, so they're picking up you can pick up the kids if you wanted. So she's thrilled.
I bet. Encore completed repairs to the lines that feed the schools, but not until afternoon. A serial rapist who removed his ankle monitor and left a Dallas halfway house was arrested in Oklahoma. Robert Charles Grunsfeld, found southeast of Oklahoma City near McAllister. On Friday, Grunsfeld disappeared. He is considered a violent sexual predator.
He's considered armed and dangerous because of things that have happened in his past, what he's accused of.
He was convicted of aggravated sexual assault and was a suspect in 3 other cases, but was never charged in those.
A 4th firefighter will be allowed to return to work after a murder charge against him was dropped. Shay O'Neill was accused of stabbing a 23-year-old in Arkansas 2 weeks ago. O'Neill told police the stabbing was in self-defense. He was charged with 2nd-degree murder and placed on administrative leave. Now those charges have been dropped. O'Neill will be allowed to return to work. Fire investigators in Dallas are looking at whether smoke detectors at a Dallas apartment were working after a fire killed 2 children. Firefighters checked the building for clues using specially trained dogs. 5-year-old Nathaniel Jimenez died in that fire. His 4-year-old sister, Natalie Martinez, died a few hours later at the hospital. Their mother's in the Parkland burn unit with severe burns. A young child also survived.
We saw the flames, and we saw she had went over the rail, and with the baby was on the ground. She grabbed the baby.
Firefighters also checked the smoke detectors of neighboring apartments.
7 men from North Texas in jail in Louisiana. They're accused of burning down this vacant plantation house. Dustin Davenport of Fort Worth said to be the ringleader of, get this, a gang of pot-smoking ghost hunters. Police say they were high and drunk and on a mission to find ghosts. That plantation that was burned was built in the 1850s.
A bankruptcy judge will decide by tomorrow whether to stop the merger of American Airlines and U.S. Airways. Attorneys for a class action lawsuit asked the judge to block the merger. The airlines already made a deal with the Justice Department earlier this month, ending its antitrust suit. Americans hoping to make a deal by December 9th.
JCPenney's CEO is so confident the retailer is bouncing back that he bought $1 million in company stock. The company regaining the trust of shoppers and investors slowly. The Plano-based retailer reported monthly sales for October were up by less than 1%, but up nonetheless for the first time in a long time.
We may never know what provoked Adam Lanza to storm Sandy Hook Elementary School, killing 20 children and 6 adults. A 44-page summary of Connecticut's investigation said there really is no clear indication of his motive. The report says that Lanza suffered from Asperger's and had mental health problems. Investigators also say he was obsessed with the 1999 mass shooting at Columbine High School in Colorado.
Well, the White House may be on board with a nuclear deal with Iran, but there are skeptics in the U.S. Senate, members of both parties ready to impose tougher, not easier sanctions. They want to see quick progress that Iran will allow inspections and is not building a nuclear weapon. Otherwise, they are ready to introduce legislation to cripple Iran's economy. U.S. allies Israel and Saudi Arabia are just as skeptical.
The